Welcome to All New Look Back in Amber, the official podcast from us, Newport County fans. From exclusive interviews to interesting inside insights, since 2010, we've been the best place to be for all things audio. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, our special guest is the human that makes the club look good and sound great on all media channels, no pressure. I'm Ramsey, I've got all the questions about the role and how it works day to day.
I'm Stephen, and I want to find out more about the man himself.
I'm Luke with your questions, and I'll be digging deeper into his career to date.
Never miss out. Subscribe to this podcast, or make sure you listen live at 2 p.m. on a Sunday and 7 p.m. on a Wednesday after all League 2 home matches and the odd special edition. Okay, so our special guest today is Newport County's Media and Marketing Manager, Louis Cartwright-Walls. Louis, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem, thanks for coming in. We've got our questions, some amazing listener questions for you as well off social media. They were very fast, weren't they, guys? Because we only put the post up yesterday, so I was very, very impressed with that one. So first of all, take me through day to day. So let's go from Monday, which we are sat in today, with a home game coming up on the weekend, and then the next away game. So take me through a kind of a cycle, if you can.
Right, so Monday usually starts with getting back into the office, reflecting on the weekend. So always positive. So positive posts always will be looking to, so as I say, reflect on the previous result, or go again. So through the different days, we'll do like a match preview. So who we're facing, what the result was last time. What I'll do is I'll plan a pre-match with the gaffer and a player as well for the Friday. So press come in and attend that and quiz the gaffer.
So is that kind of a Monday? Is that a Monday job?
No, so I'll plan it on a Monday.
Yeah.
Ready for the week.
Yeah.
So everyone's and then on a Friday, and then as we go through the week, Tuesday again we'll promote tickets. Wednesday, Wallpaper Wednesday. It's one of my favourites.
That is a good one. That's become really synonymous now, isn't it, as well with the club?
Yeah. I thought it was an interactive thing to bring back. Some people like it, some people don't, but it's always good to have a little graphic made up for Wednesday. Thursday, again, match previews, last time out, again, building up the suspense to the Saturday. And then Friday that's the big day. For me, getting the press passes ready, getting everything media-wise ready, press box ready. I'll put out the pre-match with the gaffer and the player. And then Saturday's showtime.
Yeah. So then what happens on that day? Because that's the big showpiece moment, isn't it? The big day.
The big one.
The big day after the big day.
Yeah, exactly. So Saturday, get in nice and early. Make sure everything's ready for the arrival of visiting press. So external press and then also the opposition's press as well. So welcome them in. I've sent out a media pack already, so they already know all about Rodney Parade, although some of them have been before. Hand them their passes, welcome them in, show them around, and then basically building up suspense, getting some content of fans arriving, which they love to be in, which is fantastic. We get in the marquee and see the work that you guys do and push that over the socials. And obviously we have player Q&A in the marquee as well, which we get out on the pitch, see the lads training, get some stories out, and then almost straight into the game. Then in-game tweets, match report, post-match, again match reaction. Then on the Sunday. Yeah,
it's a big old day, isn't it? Obviously the marquee side of it. Do you have anything to do with the Bisley Suite as well?
We do have photographers up in the Bisley Suite as well, yeah. So we captured those moments as well, because a lot of time people are there to celebrate a birthday or a special event, so want to capture those moments. Sponsors as well, match day sponsors, we like to capture that with the player.
So you've got through that bit of the job, and then there's the away match. So how does that look like then the following day?
The away match is actually easier than a home match. There's less to do. For obvious reasons. You don't have to plan all the visiting press. You've only got to plan who we're taking press-wise. So again, the week, I won't take you through the weekend. It's pretty similar, to be honest. But then on the Saturday or the Tuesday, it's an early leave often because South Wales club, we're quite a way out from everywhere. Although Forest Green was a nice one, I got back home and it was still light, which was incredible.
This great time of you to be playing Forest Green. What a great result as well.
It was a good result, yeah.
So that one.
So we'll go out to the away ground, arrive 2.5 hours early with a stop at a service station, and we'll get there, get the team news out, get some content of arriving fans, and then again showtime.
So we want to talk about all the kind of what works a little bit later. But yeah, look, dive on in there.
The important question, you mentioned stopping at service stations. What's your favourite service station you've been on the road with Newport County?
This is the question of the podcast. Everybody's obsessed with food.
Right.
Your answer will make or break this now.
Yeah.
Right, no pressure then. I quite like... I think is it Strensham Services.
Okay.
And the reason I like that service station, it's got chosen noodle. And chosen noodle, a few and far between. I like a chosen noodle. A katsu curry after a away day, a positive result. Now, Nick will like me to get this in. She liked T-Bay service station. And now that's gone off because obviously you have to go to Carlisle for that one. But she took us to T-Bay service station last time on the way to Carlisle.
So is this our Nick, the photographer?
Yeah. Nick the photographer. She loves that service station. But yeah, for me it's Strensham, chosen noodle all the way. It's always got other fans in as well, and I like to have a chat and see how they've got on. Because
the question is a bit further down the list, but as you mentioned Nicky Naki knew now, the question is, when you ever going to get around to buying her a coffee?
Well, I saw this question, and to be fair, she's good. She always brings a 4-pack of sausage rolls. She chucks them into the back, and I'll sit and scran those, to be fair. You've heard it here, exclusive. I'll buy Nick a coffee on the next away day.
There you go.
It's Crawley. Crawley on the 9th, I'll buy her a coffee.
We need to see photographic
I was going to say we need
evidence.
photo evidence.
Yeah, no problem. No, I'll provide that.
Yeah, on social media, because this is your job, so you're able to do that one. Well, there you go. We wanted an exclusive. I think we have it there.
There it is.
Well done, Nick. First listener question, and we've already got our first exclusive. So, in the role as well, so we've got the day-to-day idea now. How difficult is it to put kind of all these different personalities together, because you've got to keep the players happy, the manager happy, the board happy? Is that a difficult thing, or is it relatively straightforward?
It's relatively straightforward because I'm a football fan myself, and I know what I like to see on social media. So I'm as honest as I can be, and so far the feedback has been really good on how the social media has been run. Like I say, just honesty. Honesty is the best policy. That old.
You'll get found out if you're not honest.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Radio's even worse.
Yeah.
If you're not straight with your listener, they'll be able to detect it. It's just a really weird, strange thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll talk about your football team as well in a couple of seconds. Other than Newport Kings, I think that's going to be on the list as well. So in terms of who's immediately around you, who works in the media team at the moment? Who have you got?
So Nicola Johns, who's obviously everyone's familiar with. She's fantastic face around the club. She's the photographer. We've got Alfie, who works in the graphics and is a bit of a media assistant as well. Helps me a lot because it's a lot of work. So he shares the load with that. We've got Kian, who's a photographer at the club as well. Chris, I think he works with you.
Yeah,
you guys
Chris
as well.
Lucas. Yeah, but he's brilliant.
So does a bit of photography. And then we've got a lad called Liam who helps write some bits as well. So occasionally a match report. He has his own job too, so he's not available for every match, but where he is available, he'll come and help. Got some great people around, to be honest, and I love it because fantastic people come together and make a great team, and then the output is...
Yeah, because it's Jane's question really. How are you getting on with the media team is the direct question that Jane wanted to put to you. So how are you getting on with the media team?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything, to be fair.
Are they paid volunteers? How does that side of it work?
Volunteers.
Thought so.
Volunteers. And work ethic is fantastic. They're second to none, honestly.
Yeah, you find that with volunteers. I've got Stephen and Luke, there's not a lot I can do about that, but the rest of the team here are absolutely amazing. Talking to which...
I'm volunteer number 1. What are you talking
You're
about?
volunteer number 1. It's an internal joke, that one. We'll explain all at some other point.
Yeah. So we thought we'd try and get to know a little bit about you. So where did you grow up? Where are you from?
Right, so I was born in Worcester.
Okay.
That's where I grew up as well. Yeah, that's where I grew up.
Yeah. So when was the first time you became aware of football? This thing called football that we all love.
Great question. I've always played it.
Yeah.
Ever since I was young, I played for a team called Nunnery Wood, and I played for them for a very, very long time.
What position did you play?
I was actually a left winger, right-footed, so I used to cut in on my right.
Nice.
And we were terrible for the first 2 seasons, absolutely terrible. My dad was the manager actually, and then we had an unbeaten season out of nowhere, and it was fantastic. It was a great feeling, and then we all went on to other football clubs. I had a very brief spell at Lichfield City, when I lived out in Lichfield with my dad for a little bit. But I couldn't keep up, to be honest, and seeing how hard the lads work. There's no chance. But yeah.
So So who is your favourite football team? And we've got
other than Newport County.
Newport County, obviously Newport County are first. But then we've got a listener question: who is your favourite player from that team? Which
right.
is
So for
Jane,
those,
I forgot to mention her name.
So for those that don't know, I'm a Birmingham City fan. Always have been. It's got to be Omar Bogle. Honestly, funny story. Just on tangent, I used to wait outside the Blues ground, and I've got a picture of Omar Bogle back. I think he was with us 2017, 2018. I've got a picture of him somewhere. I want to try and find that. But favourite Birmingham City player's got to be Jude Bellingham. Honestly, what he's gone on to do is it's fantastic.
Yeah,
and now Job as well. Job's starting to
two goals on the weekend.
Yeah, they
exactly.
both didn't they?
Yeah. So no, positive. He's great lad, Jude. I met him a couple of times.
Yeah. So Ollie is a listener question. If Birmingham City ever played Newport County, where would you sit in the ground?
Wow, Ollie, I'd have to sit in the press box firstly, because
that's what I knew you were going to say. That's a cop-out. Okay. You're banned from the press box, right?
So where would you
sit?
Yeah.
Home
or away? Home or away?
I'd sit in the Newport County end.
Okay, which is the correct answer.
Genuinely, since I've joined the club, I've got such a love for the club, and I do. It genuinely affects my mood when we lose. So I love the club, and I love to see us do well. And I'd sit in the Newport County end if we played them while I was there. Yeah,
good. I can imagine you're a gaffer, a great pair coming home after a loss.
Yeah.
Who's the most angry? Who's most upset about it?
Well, I'm in the media car, and he goes out back on the coach. So you'll have to
separated.
Yeah, you'll have to ask Nick that one.
Yeah.
I sit in the back and snooze.
That's a good one. Oh, that's a great way around it. If you got a bad mood, just have a little snooze, innit?
Yeah, yeah. So we've got another listener question. This is from John. What is your favourite games console?
This is a bit of an inside joke. So we were having a bit of an argument about this the other day. So recently, me and my girlfriend bought a Wii.
Okay.
I know, a bit of retro. We bought a Wii because we were like, yeah, it's a great game. And so we bought Super Mario Brothers, and we just played it. And me and John were speaking about it, and we got into a bit of an argument about what's better. He seemed to think a Wii U, was it? A Wii...
I think that's the more modern one, yeah.
Well, we were arguing, so that's just an inside joke. But just for John, Nintendo Wii.
Okay, thanks very much.
So, in terms of you becoming the media manager, because we've known you, like myself and Stephen especially, have known you for about 2 years now.
Yeah, coming up to that, yeah.
Yeah. Talk to us through that development then. So, from when we first met you, being that volunteer, I'm sure you was a media assistant to the former media manager, Ben, who used to be at the club, and now you've gone on to become the media manager. Talk us through that process. How did it begin, and how did you get to where you are now?
It's been a long time. I was studying, so the reason I ended up in South Wales, I was at uni, I was at Cardiff Met University, and I was studying photography, so I wrote to the club asking if I could be a volunteer photographer, just to get some experience. I'd never ever shot sport.
What made you do that? Because that's really, really forward thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to get out there. I needed something, and I just thought, I love football, I want to try it. I had no kit. I had my camera, and that was it. And I said, right, I'm going to just do it. I'm going to push the boat out. And I only wrote to Newport County, weirdly. And I got a response. And my first ever game was against Tranmere. I think we beat them 4-2. However,
did we score 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to win?
Maybe,
like
yeah.
that?
Yeah. Don't fact check me on that, but I'm sure it was 4-2. Dom Telford, I believe, got a couple. Which was not rare that season. Yeah. But it all started there, and it was a volunteer photographer match day, and I really loved it. I really loved the club. I caught the bug, as you'd say. And I just kept going, and I just wanted to do more work. And Sydney at the time, who was the media assistant, great person, really worked hard. She was leaving to go to university, so it kind of left a bit of a space, and I was lucky enough to fill that space. So that's what I was for a year at the club. And then, I was the interim media manager for a little bit after the previous departed. And then into the media manager role. Yeah.
There's a nice little bit of classic Sydney on Newport City Radio. So if you go to Spreaker, there's the Out of Lockdown podcast, and she's doing our sport interviews there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so,
I'll have a listen to that.
Yeah, she was really great. Didn't really get to meet Sydney that much because it was COVID times. It was really odd having a volunteer who was doing a lot of work with us at the time that I'd not actually been able to have a sit down face to face conversation with. So yeah. But yeah, we got on great with Sydney.
Yeah, our next question is another listener question from someone you probably know well, Kelly Anderson.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Who says, how did your media journey start?
I'm with this because he's a little bit shy to say this, but this one might be off to uni, and Cardiff Met is an option. So talk me through that bit, kind of having an interest in media, probably through school into uni, and was it a good experience?
Yeah, so... you should definitely go because Cardiff Met's a great uni. I didn't study anything media. Well, I guess photography. It wasn't directly into the job that I'm in now. But university is a fantastic way of. You got social skills. You meet new people. Contacts are everything. It was something I've learnt. But I'd definitely go. And obviously I already answered Kelly's question with how I've got into it. But yeah. Just falling in love, being at the right place, right time, putting your foot in the door, and contacts are everything.
So start with photography.
Yeah.
How did that? I was going to develop. That's a really bad pun. Not these days. It automatically develops. But where did that photography bit come from?
So I always used to take pictures. My granddad used to have cameras everywhere in his office, everywhere, and I always used to take pictures. I always wanted to take the family photos. I always wanted to take my parents' phone and take the pictures. I think that's where it began, because ever since I was a little bit obsessed, and I used to take my camera everywhere. I guess it came from there. I studied at sixth form college back in Worcester, and then it progressed to uni, which I never wanted to go to uni. I was at sixth form college as we went into the COVID lockdown. I really lost my motivation for photography. I was not in a fantastic place. I didn't even check my sixth form results. I didn't check them for about 2 weeks. And my stepdad said, you should check them. You should just see where you were. And I got straight A's. And I ended up applying through Cleary and going to Cardiff Met. And it was the best thing I ever did, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here. So
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic, yeah. I definitely recommend getting to uni, yeah.
Where'd you get the results in?
Well, it was distinction, so it was the equivalent of 3 A's, so all in photography.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. I love this bit because in my long time ago in my college days, my course was linked with photographers, so I got that bit of an interest in it. I went to uni, and again I lived with 2 photographers for the first year. And our spare room was a dark room.
Oh yeah.
And it's just really lovely seeing that style of photography that was, even back then, it was getting a bit ancient because it's going more digital.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like one there. How are you gonna make this role your own then? So how do you put your stamp on the manager role?
So there's a couple of things that I'm have looked to bring back or bring. So a couple of things. So the communication document that we put out monthly, I think that's an important thing to show the fans this is what's going on behind the scenes. Necessarily, why would we publish that? But when you've got a load of information into one, then we can publish that, and it's a good read. Some fans are interested by it. Academy Watch, so we don't do enough around the academy. We haven't done enough around the academy previously, so one thing that we're going to do is start homing in on that. Who's doing well? What was the result last weekend? Because the academy's fantastic. I've done some work down there. Great people down there. A loan watch as well, so any players that we've got out on loan, focusing on those and how they're getting on and stuff like that. So I guess that's how I put my stamp on it. I brought back some more video content recently because no one wants to read constant press releases. It get a little bit draining. So video content's important. It's interactive. It's an easy watch. It's an easy way to convey information to supporters. So I guess that's how I do it.
So let's go top level then, because I know the guys going to talk to you about audio and video and social media. How do you plan stuff at the club? So not so much kind of like the news side of it. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. How do you approach it in terms of marketing? Because for Newport City Radio, we want to appeal to as many Newport people as possible, but we understand that radio doesn't work like that. We've kind of got to have a target audience. Newport County can't work like that, because I guess you've got to have young fans right the way through up to all ages. Yeah. So how do you target that demographic? How does that side of it work, the marketing side of it?
So you've got to find a balance. It's important you find a balance, because some fans that are 18 and then some fans that are 80 plus, and some things that... So So it's finding a balance, but also there is times that some people wouldn't get the stuff that we put out, and some people would.
Is there a digital marketing or a marketing strategy? Do you sit down and just think, okay, demographics for this age, so we're going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that?
Yeah. There is, yeah. But there's different approaches to people that we want to target or we want to get out to. There's different the ways we'd approach a post or something that we're publishing to target different people, I guess, if that answers your question.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah, because it just seems like the impossible side of the job. Yeah. Marketing to a diverse age range of Newport, I believe that. So, it's trying to see how it does that, because and again, as the lad's going to talk to you about now, there's so many different formats and so many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about communication, I think you just kind of spoke about how you communicate with fans, but how important is it to have that communication with them?
Oh, it's really important. You don't, like I say, as a football fan, I know that I'd like that. So people I've spoke to, like I say, there's been good feedback about it. So how do you measure success in media? I guess there's a couple of ways. You can measure it by numbers, followers, the rate of followers, and then feedback as well. So I always keep tabs on feedback and positive feedback, of course, which is always good.
Because I guess when, like anything, your job is dependent on how well the club is doing.
Yeah.
So if they're putting together a couple of wins, a couple of good wins like we've had recently, it's got to make your job easier. But then how do you cover it when there's a bit of negativity out there? Because everyone's got a view, and now that view goes onto social media. And how do you handle that side of it?
So the thing with football, it's always only temporary. Mostly at the moment we're playing Saturday, Tuesday. There's always going to be negativity out there. There's nothing we can do about that. However, as a club, we focus on positivity, positive results, and yes, positive results do make my job easier. However, when there is negativity, we look to find the positives. There's always positives. There's always a way that things will get better or things will be better, and you don't always need to be negative on social media, or you can turn it into a positive. Like I say, there's always positive to find.
It's difficult as well, isn't it? Because I think this whole language that comes with football as well. So if you're overly positive, which I think sometimes we can be a little bit guilty of that one. I think the term happy clappers comes out as well. I don't see anything wrong with being a happy clapper.
I think going back to the whole balance thing and honesty as well. Look, people don't want to see always positivity after we've had a negative result. However, there's ways of doing it. So honesty, it comes back to honesty on that one.
So talking about social media, how do you get the best out of social media? Do you maybe keep up with trends? Do you change the content for different channels, things like that?
Great question. TikTok's a great one because there's always trends on TikTok, and if you jump on the trend and it takes off, then you've got a great post. Twitter's not so easy. It's not a very welcoming platform at times. There's a lot of negativity on there. You do alter. Like I say, moving away from press releases to more video content. Video content's great fun to film as well, particularly as you want to start getting into fun videos with the lads and stuff, which is what I'm trying to push on with. So yeah, you do alter it for different information, I guess. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite social media channel?
No, I don't. No. I quite like TikTok. I find TikTok funny, and we have a good following on TikTok as well, and it's a nice way of again video content. But no, I don't think I have a favourite one.
Do you find the club has a from a fan base situation a favourite? So we tend to score really high on Facebook,
right?
Where Twitter, bit of improvement. Instagram, we just got to do more stuff in there. TikTok, we haven't even looked at yet. That will be a come in soon. I can see this happening, especially after what you've just said. Is there a feeling that fans tend to react better with one type of social media channel rather than the rest?
Twitter. If I see anything, it's usually Twitter. If we announce a player or something, honestly, I'll post. Obviously, we'll do a teaser, which announcements videos have become more videos recently. If the fans know there's something coming at 7 and 8, if I post something and then I refresh, it's got about 12 likes before I've even refreshed it. It's crazy. So Twitter's a very busy one, yeah.
There's a great, I have to share it with you, there's a great video that Radio 1's done with Google,
Right.
And what they're doing, they're talking on there, just saying that basically social media, no one's got a clue. So we just try something. If it works, we do more of it until it doesn't work anymore. And there's a great video where Greg James, the radio and DJ, breakfast show DJ's on a wrecking ball doing a Miley Cyrus video take, and that went well. So they got other DJs to do other videos that were okay, but then it kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
And that seems to be kind of where I'm at with social media.
It's changing with the times.
Yeah.
You just got to keep up always, and it's tough. You've got to keep on the ball.
Yeah, I think you've already kind of mentioned it, but obviously video and audio, how important are those formats?
Video, like I've already said, is really important. Luckily, photography and videography go hand in hand a lot of the time. So I'm not a videographer. I have no background in videography. However, when I tried my hand at it, filming some training sessions, I wasn't too bad. So learning editing and stuff, it's good fun. Videos are really, really good. I'm not.
We've got a listener question here from Tony Carver who asks, are you going to be replaced by an AI bot called Amberbot?
Yes. No,
it's happening.
No idea.
It's going to happen.
AI is fantastic, however slightly scary. It's a great question. Perhaps in 10, 15 years, Tony, but for now you're stuck with me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we feel the same thing. So in terms of AI, how are you using that in your day-to-day role at the moment, or are you not using it yet?
I don't use it. No, I don't. All press releases are written by me or by so Jonathan, who's been helping out recently. We write all of our press releases. I don't use AI yet. However, as it improves and perhaps in the future, but no, right now I'm not. Don't touch that yet.
Yeah, we're starting to dip our toe in it a little bit. So in terms of different copy for different social media channels, I tend to type into I won't name which ones, but certainly to AI, right, here's what I've written. Can you add emojis to it? Because I can't be bothered looking for emojis. Add emojis to it, because apparently they like emojis. And can you do a version for Twitter? Can you do a version for Instagram? Yeah. And then I go and add the human. So the human bit is right at the front end of it, writing it, popping it through then AI, and then getting it the other end, and then just making sure that it makes sense human-wise as well. So it's starting to become a thing. But yeah, I agree with you. It's like any new technology. It's really scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we're right to be scared a little bit in terms of the fact of the internet's come along. It's like the Wild West, isn't it? It's not regulated. It's a thing. I think we didn't take that too seriously when it came about, but I think now with AI, I think we're all a little bit this looks cool, but
test the waters at the moment. I think just see how it goes, and like I say, in the future, I might look into it. However, at the moment, I'm quite cool just cracking on.
I suppose we've got to look at it the other way as well, isn't it? What happens if people are using it out there and doing deep fake videos and stuff like that? Because that's going to be, obviously can't go through the official channels, we get that, but it's still a worrying thing that you could end up having a situation where somebody's saying something they shouldn't be, and it's not actually them. So it's definitely a dark world out there, isn't it? But it's okay, we'll fix it, guys. It's all going to be all right. That's it. But one, communication in general. So what's been your best county experience so far?
Kelly asked that, didn't she?
Kelly's gone for the best moment captured.
Okay.
We'll take that first then. So photography. I don't know whether Kelly literally means photography, but let's take it on that one for a second. Best moment captured.
Best moment captured. That's a really good question. I really enjoyed travelling up with the club for the Leicester fixture last season.
Didn't we all? Apart from Stephen.
Except me, who was ill.
Oh no, I really enjoyed that. However, best moment captured, I love capturing the lads after the scoring goals, the celebration shots. So I took one last year of Will Evans scoring his debut goal. I think it was against Portsmouth. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
He definitely scored against Portsmouth. I'm not sure of his debut. I think, and I just took the shot. And as a photographer, you take a shot and you just can't wait to get home and edit it. And that was it. We beat Portsmouth. Also, we beat Luton as well, and that was a great night. And capturing some of those moments, it was fantastic. Yeah, I think it's probably got to be up there, to be honest.
So photography, that's that one.
Photography wise, yeah.
In terms of personal moments at Newport County so far, what's up there?
That's a great question. That really is a great question, and I wish I thought about that before I came on. Because can we come back to that? Is that all right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll have an answer for you.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Again, it doesn't have to be the ultimate one, because that's sometimes be too much pressure. Think of the ultimate moment, just something that's just made you giggle or just made you think, this is for me. I walk in here almost every day, and I just love just not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
but then just seeing what spins out of it. So we knew you were coming in, and here we are, sort of like 30 minutes in, having a conversation, learning loads of stuff. I love that.
Yeah.
So have a little think. And we'll
I will. I'll
come
come
back
back to you on that one.
Okay, so let's take apart the role now in terms of the stuff that you can plan and you can know about, and the stuff that you can't.
So one thing I've been intrigued by this summer is the kit launches.
Right.
So how do you prepare for them, and can you explain to us the process of actually doing them?
So kit launches, we're really, really lucky to have VX3 on board with. So VX3 have been fantastic. They've designed some really fantastic kits. So with that, their marketing manager, who I work quite closely with, he comes up with a baseline idea, and then we kind of run it, like ping pong back and forth to each other, and then they've got a production team that come down, and so I kind of get the players together, and they get the production together, and we just bash heads and make it work. And the away kit shoot, we filmed over a day. That was really, really good. The thing is, the tough thing is to not let the kit be leaked.
Yeah.
Obviously shooting in public locations, there's been a couple of instances where we've seen it. Luckily it hasn't gone big, or we managed to get it taken down. But yeah, so at the moment we're working on the third kit shoot, which was shot last Friday, I believe. It could have been Thursday. I think it was a Thursday.
Was it Rodney Parade?
Was it Rodney Parade?
John
Yeah,
Morgan
with some
from
fans.
Tinty was appealing for fans to.
Yeah. So we were around a couple of locations in Newport, and we ended up at Rodney Parade. I won't give too much away. You got that to look forward to on Friday. That'll be coming out on Friday.
Because there's got to be more control over it in your home turf, isn't it? Because you know the area, you know how the venue, you know how it all works out.
Yeah.
It's got to be a better way to do it there, isn't it? But then if you keep doing it in the same place all the time, it's going to get a bit
Exactly.
silly.
Yeah. So you got to push boundaries.
Talk to us about I think it was the second kit launch where you had sort of like people talking, but it wasn't the voice.
Yeah, Graham Cochran developed a really good Newport accent.
And Marco Bryan.
Safe, bruv. Yeah, no, that was it. So John Morgan from Tinty and the Bucket Hats was the voiceover, if you didn't know already. That was a great idea by the VX3 guys again. It was just it came off really well. I'm pleased that the gaffer was a really, really good sport about it. OB as well, Marco Bryan. That was humorous and went down well with the fans as well. Yeah,
because I think what was good about that video as well was like the juxtaposition of the old footage and more modern footage, and like the voice, Tinty's voice going through it. That was a phenomenal video, wasn't it?
It was more of a thing. We've spoken about this in the past. I think we all have, to be honest. Newport gets a bad rap, and that was literally what the video is about. And as someone who's not from Newport, why should it? I think it's a great little city, and
me too.
It's got a lot to be celebrated. So that's what the purpose of that was.
I think it's like anything, isn't it? We've talked about this with quite a few people that come in, and it's difficult if you don't move away from Newport, because you don't see the beauty of it. If you go away, I spent 3 years living in Cornwall, spent a year or two in Cardiff. Sorry. Had to be done. It was a job thing, and I was always aware of the brilliance of Newport, but it certainly sharpens the focus when you've been away and you come back and you go, do you know what? It's actually really nice. So I think from an outside point of view, I can get how you see that.
Yeah,
come on, Newport people, you can do it.
Exactly.
So that's kind of like known news.
Unknown news, aka what we're in at the moment. The transfer window, I think, is open for another 2 weeks.
So,
2 weeks or so.
Unknown news is reaction time. I've always got my laptop with me. I've always got my bag with me. It's almost you've always got to be on it. You've always got to be on it because something could happen. You've got to react to it, get something out. You said a transfer window. The transfer window is it's all right because it's relatively known by myself. How
does that work? Does Graham or Chris say to you that we might be signing a player today at this time, and then he leaves it up to you then to organise that, or is that how it works?
Pretty much hit the nail on the head there. So I won't get masses of notice because obviously it's quite a fast process. However, I have some notice and I'll get a press release written up. I'll get a plan for the video. If it's a loan, you've got to speak to the parent club, and then. I'll get it filmed and we'll set a time and then we'll go.
Because that's gone really well again this year, isn't it? By choosing the sponsors and bringing them more into it because they're paying their money.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a really lovely way to bring in. So that's
exactly
a nice bit of work.
We've got to acknowledge that as well. So that's why we've done some bits with Pure Vans and it's important that we celebrate our sponsorship and our partnership as well, and that's why we've sort of brought that in.
Take us into deadline day. I think deadline day is the day if you're a football fan. Have you done a deadline day as the media manager, or were you only assistant?
No, not as the media manager. But I can tell you a story about the last one. We signed Callum Kavanagh on deadline day last. Was it January? Yeah, it would have been January. Yeah. And we were all sat in the office. We had a pizza, and we were
What pizza?
Oh wow, great question. I think it was pepperoni.
Barbecue base?
I don't think so. I'm not a fan of that.
Out. Barbecue base.
Sorry,
it's the future.
Stuffed crust though. I don't mind stuffed crust.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Filling though. So we were waiting around for Cav to come down, and then we did all that and we shot that and then got it out. But yeah, deadline day is a busy one, and I'm looking forward to it actually as media manager. Yeah.
How does it work? Are you sat with Graham throughout the day, or is it as the night goes on? Are you watching Sky Sports News, waiting for the phone call?
Yeah, we usually have the TV on and see what's going on, because we're all football fans. We all want to see what's going on in the football world. And we'll just sit there. We'll get everything ready so that when Cav turns up, it's literally shoot and get it out. There'll be a couple of us sat in the office, wanting to welcome him and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's one of those lovely moments in football, isn't it? It's quite a big thing. Is there pressure to deliver a player on transfer deadline day?
I'm going to change that a little bit. There's pressure, full stop, with player announcements and kit announcements, because I'm quite an anxious person. So when I put if I put a teaser out, I'll make sure everything's ready. So 8 p.m. we've been going with a lot recently. I will, and the team sheet as well at 2 p.m. on a game day. You don't know how many times I'll check every single thing, and sometimes things slip through the gaps. Nothing you can do about that. I'm only human. This
is where you need Amberbot.
Exactly. This is where I need the AI. But player announcements are big ones, because they're huge, aren't they, in football? And you don't want to misspell someone's name, because again, social media, that will blow up, and that will backfire on you. Then you look a bit silly. So it's there's a lot of pressure in it. I'll put it that way.
Okay, so let's change the gear a little bit and let's come back down to you and your role. So first of all, in terms of your current role, what do you want to either maintain or improve on?
Great question. Consistency. Consistency is one thing I wanted to bring in. So keeping it consistent, so fans know what to expect on what days. And
so is that in terms of times, like you just said, the 8 o'clock for a transfer if possible?
Sometimes that's not possible, but a lot of the time it is. So consistency like that, but consistency on match previews on this day. So we've brought in the away fan guide as well, which was a great idea by Liam, one of the guys who helps me write. So away fan guide. So if you're going somewhere for the first time, here's what you need to know. Here's where you can eat. Here's how you can get there, which is really nice. Gone down well with the fans. Keeping consistency is really important, and I've noticed that because this is my first senior role, if you like. And one thing I've learned is consistency is huge. I guess that's one thing needed improving. It's been improved. Now, ironically, needs to be consistent. So
yeah, the away fan guide is brilliant, because that's probably the one thing I've seen more on social media over the last couple of years, kind of which pubs are welcoming to Newport County fans. So that's just such a cool thing to have.
There'd be nothing worse than getting, as a football fan, there'd be nothing worse than getting to somewhere and it's a bit alien. You don't know where you're going. You don't know where you can go. You know, where you can eat, whatever. So it's important.
So what's next for you personally, and how do you relax and escape from the role, because it's a pretty demanding role that you do, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'll answer the first question first. What was that? Sorry.
What's next for you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Birmingham City media manager.
No. So I don't want to sound like I'm just saying this because I'm on a Newport City podcast, but I genuinely love Newport. So I'd love to be at the club for a while yet. However, I'm learning German. I've always learnt German. I'd love to end up at like Borussia Dortmund or something like that. I love Dortmund. I've been over to Germany a couple of times, and that's a future goal. Love to be at Dortmund or something like that.
Yeah. So then, so how do you relax and escape from the role?
Relax. It's tough. It's very demanding. Darts. I play a lot of darts.
Okay. Do you play for the team? Or?
I used to back home. I don't here. darts. I like to walk a little bit. I like to have me and my girlfriend go and play shuffleboard at Roxy Lanes in Cardiff a lot.
Okay.
I don't know why, it's a random one, but we go and do that a lot. But other than that, it's a lot. I'm working.
Heads that time with your girlfriend, because she's like any position in football. It's got to come with a bit of understanding, hasn't it?
Yeah, she's really good, to be fair. She's really understanding, because she, like, especially when we're announcing a player at 7, I won't be back till late or something. She's really good. Luckily, she works quite antisocial hours, so
she's a nightclub DJ too.
So yeah, it works like that. And I've recently moved into Newport as well now, so she gets the train in from Cardiff, or I'll go and stay with her in Cardiff. So yeah, it works. We make it work.
That would work as well when you're not having a bit of time away from the city as well. I think having that physical break from the territories has got to help out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
What's one clear message you have for us fans? We know in the past we've had one club, one county. Do you have a message like that, or a bit of a mission statement almost, I suppose?
Get down and support the boys. Honestly, your support and working for the club. One thing, when I sit at the back of that, when I sit in the press box, and I know you guys sit there too, the noise is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, and because I speak to the boys a lot, I speak to the gaffer as well, and it's not just on camera that they say the fans is fantastic. The support is fantastic. It's off camera. They're like, genuinely, it's brilliant, and it's like goosebumps. And so one thing I'd say is come down, support always, and the lads love it, and it spurs them on to hopefully get a good result.
It's more important than ever now, isn't it? Bums on seats.
Definitely.
I think there's no secret the club needs a bit of finance and a bit of support in that way, and that's just one pure way you can actually get the money where it really, really matters, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what an amazing set of initiatives that are coming out as well at the moment from the fans. From Olivia walking around the pitch and raising money that way for the player fund.
Yeah.
It's just what amazing stuff happening. And this is what happens in adversity, isn't it? You get to see those people that really, really care come out, but we just need to be pushing over that. I guess in terms of like numbers over Rodney Parade, we need to be over the 5,000 every single game, really, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. And going back to Olivia's walk there, it was important. It's always important we cover good news stories as well, because there's enough bad news out there on social media and in the world that it's important that you cover that sort of stuff, because it's really quite heartwarming, to be fair. And I really enjoyed meeting her and her parents and photographing her walk around the pitch. She smashed it.
Yeah.
So we're going to come back to that question that we kind of parked for a second and give you a chance to have a little think about it. Again, it's like I say, it's not climbing Everest and doing the best that way, but just one moment's made you smile and giggle and think, yeah, this is great.
I think probably, and I go back to this Portsmouth match, it was pretty much, I don't know if it was a sellout, but it was pretty much a sellout. And the fans just hearing the noise, knowing that I'm part of a great club, and I remember a feeling when we won that match. It was pretty special, to be fair. And then obviously we went on to draw Leicester, I believe, after that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that was just a great, really good time. Really good to be a part of that moment, I think, for me.
Okay, we've done this before, but I think it's not on the script. One question which you haven't been asked by us or the listeners yet. Anything that you think? Oh, I was looking forward to talking about this.
No, I don't think so. I think the question would be fantastic, to be fair. It covered most bases.
Our listeners are pretty good. They had short. I mentioned it, didn't they? We had short notice on it, but they've done really, really well.
Definitely.
Louis, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Spending 45 minutes with us this Monday afternoon, as it is now. Thanks for listening today. We will catch you on the next episode.